It was a hectic scene in front of Brian and Nicole Albert's home in Canton, Massachusetts on the morning of January 29th. Police, firefighters, and paramedics all responding because Boston police officer John O'Keefe was found unresponsive on the ground in the snow. Officer O'Keefe had spent the prior evening bar hopping downtown. The Alberts were hosting an after party and had invited John and his girlfriend, Karen Reed. Karen never went inside. She says she dropped John off and went back to his house, then woke up early and began frantically looking for him. Prosecutors say Karen is the one who killed John. They say she ran him over with the back of her car on purpose because their relationship had soured and she was filled with jealous rage. Karen says that's not true and believes it was actually the people inside the house who ambushed John and then framed her for his murder. Today, a shocking moment in the courtroom as Karen Reed calls out the prosecution for introducing a mirror image video into evidence. Was the jury being misled? We'll break it down as we continue our investigation into the tragic death of Officer John O'Keefe. I'm Vinnie Politan. Thank you for joining us tonight on Closing Arguments. Today was a big day. This will be a big hour. Do not go anywhere. Let me begin talking about myself. I was a prosecutor, okay? That's a picture of me in my office as a prosecutor back in the day. It's when I used to dye my hair darker, okay? When I was a prosecutor, I understood the job. It's not an easy job. You don't get paid a ton. If you're a lawyer, you can make a lot more money not being a prosecutor. Whether you're a criminal defense attorney, corporate lawyer, whatever kind of lawyer you are, you're going to make more money if you're not a prosecutor. So when you have career prosecutors who have dedicated their lives, their profession in prosecuting criminals, it's a sacrifice. And they should be commended. Absolutely commended. Let me tell you a story about one of the first cases, though, that I tried as a young prosecutor. It's before the trial. You know, you have to prepare a bunch of cases, but there was one that we're going to trial. So the lead officer and I are in a conference room with my investigator, and we're sitting down. We're just going to get ready because I've never met this guy before and just want to talk about it before the trial starts. And he looks at me and he goes, "Counselor, what do you want me to say?" What do I want you to say? I'm thinking to myself, did he just ask me that? And then I came back, I said, the truth, like nothing but the truth. That's all, because that's our job. The job isn't, what are we going to say to win this case? What are we going to do to win the case? No, it's the truth. The obligation of a prosecutor is to seek justice, which is the truth. A trial is a search for the truth. That's what you need to do. That's important. That is important. That is the foundation of our criminal justice system, is that we need men and women prosecuting cases honestly and searching for the truth. Not telling witnesses what to say, not pulling a fast one. The facts are what they are. Period. Okay, now let's get to this case. Enough about me. Karen Reed is alleging a conspiracy in this case, right? She's alleging that people are not being honest in our system of justice. Police officers, state, local, people not telling the truth, not being forthcoming. And if you're prosecuting Karen Reed, you know that. You know that the basis of the defense case is that the Commonwealth and those representing law enforcement in the Commonwealth are not being honest. They're not playing by the rules. They're being dishonest. They're being deceptive. They are attempting to deceive the public about what really happened. That's what the defense is in this case. Crystal clear what their theory is. Not somebody else did it. Well, they do believe someone else did it, but it goes way beyond that, in that the arms of the Commonwealth of law enforcement are attempting to deceive you, ladies and gentlemen. Now, as a prosecutor, you know that. And a lot of times, in a lot of cases I've covered here on Court TV, I've seen instances where the defense has come up with things, and sometimes I'll accuse them of using smoke and mirrors, trying to prove their case with smoke and mirrors to deceive the jury. But after what happened today in that courtroom in Dedham, Massachusetts, I am not sure who is attempting to use smoke and mirrors here. Is it the defense, like I usually say, or is it the prosecution? They put in a piece of evidence today, or yesterday, and then talked about it today, that was completely misrepresenting the truth. I don't know if it was an accident. I don't know if it was on purpose, but I know it's a big problem. Let's bring in Court TV crime and justice correspondent Matt Johnson, joining us live tonight where it all happened. He was in the courtroom in Dedham, Massachusetts tonight. Matt, great to see you tonight. Big day, big hour, everything. This piece of evidence, this inverted video, it's a mirror image of a video which just changes everything. I mean, changes everything. Please explain to us what happened and tell us what you saw, what you heard, because this is huge.
This is big. Vinny, nice to see you. And I can tell you, being in that courtroom, everyone stopped. Some of the jurors were looking at each other during this. They stopped writing. They take a lot of notes. So you had Sergeant Buchanan back on the stand today. He's under cross now. He's Trooper Proctor's supervisor. He's also overseeing the investigation in this case. And he was talking yet again about the video that was so much of yesterday's testimony. Well, it turned out that the defense team noticed, after reviewing the video yet again, a backwards 4. They also noticed the backwards writing on the classic police car next to Karen Reed's SUV that's in the Sally Port there over at Canton PD. And with this video being inverted, it looks like you're looking at the passenger side of her car. But in fact, it's the driver's side. Take a listen to this testimony.
From this perspective, from the perspective that the jurors are looking at, from all indications, that would appear to be the right side of the truck, the passenger side of the truck, and that taillight that you can see is the right rear taillight from this perspective, correct?
The way it presents itself, yes.
And yesterday, during the entirety of your questioning by Mr. Lally, not once did you mention that this video is actually completely inverted, correct?
No.
Mr. Lally didn't ask you if it was inverted, correct?
That's correct.
And if I hadn't gotten up here and begun questioning you, that would be left uncorrected.
And the witness also confirmed, after the defense pointed out, that it appears that there are 2 men in the back of Karen's SUV in the area of the broken tail light. That was pointed out to the jury today. Today was a short day of court, of testimony, and that's how it ended today. It was huge.
If you look at the video that way, the tail light that's closest to you that you can see would be the tail light in question, but because it's inverted, that's not the tail light. Completely deceptive. Whether it's on purpose, accidental, either way, that is just wrong. That is just wrong. It's amazing that this actually happened inside the courtroom. Okay, that's one huge, enormous, I would say ginormous piece of evidence and video in this case. Let's talk about another video, the ring video from John O'Keefe's house. What's going on with this video?
We have heard and seen so many videos from John O'Keefe's property, from his house, 1 Meadows Avenue, and including this video that's really important to the defense. So this was played yesterday. It's the ring video, and it's January 29th at 5 a.m. Karen Reed backs up her SUV and drives out that long bowling alley driveway. Well, the video was played again today on cross but in fact, it was enhanced. So this is the first time that the jury is seeing the video enhanced, where the witness mentions that it appears that John O'Keefe's car is tapped, it's hit, and his car moves. So that's really important for the defense. Now, another ring video that is not shown to this jury was talked about quite a bit. And it's going to be the ring video of Karen Reed at John O'Keefe's house showing her back taillight area to Jen McCabe and Carrie Roberts. But prosecutors say that they couldn't find the video, that it didn't exist or it was deleted. They were insinuating that. Well, today on cross, it was pointed out that the Ring Corporation never provided it to Trooper Proctor. Take a listen.
You didn't write the search warrant for those Ring videos, did you?
I did not.
You were not the affiant for those search warrants.
I was not.
Who was the author of the search warrant and the affiant?
It was Trooper Mike Proctor.
Who received the actual Ring video or videos from the Ring Corporation?
It was Trooper Mike Proctor received it.
And who ultimately either logged those into evidence or controlled those once they were received from the Ring Corporation?
I believe it was Trooper Mike Proctor.
The long and short of it is, during the entire course of your investigation, you never revealed that investigation never revealed any evidence whatsoever that my client ever even accessed the account information for the Ring account associated with this search warrant, correct?
Nothing provided by Ring proved or suggested or proved any evidence of that type of activity, no.
Another Ring video that the jury has seen quite a bit is this one of the next morning when Karen Reed's dad is driving her SUV to John O'Keefe's property. She takes something out of the property, but there's been several videos of him driving her, and that's been shown to the jury as well, Vinny.
All right, one other big moment today, I thought. Investigators initially thought that the victim in this case, John O'Keefe, was in a fight.
Right, or maybe a glass was thrown at his head and that's how he obtained the injury. So today was yet another emotional day for the O'Keefe family. I can tell you that they were wiping away tears being in the courtroom right behind them. And one of those moments was when this witness, the trooper, actually pulled out of evidence his ball cap, his police ball cap that he always wore and that was missing after his body was recovered. Well, it was shown to the jury today, and once again, Peggy O'Keefe was in tears, so there must be some sort of special meaning there. But again, today was also important because right after that, they talked about the initial investigation, and the defense was pointing out how it was initially investigated. Listen to this.
You did, in fact, at 10:41 a.m., indicate to another professional involved in the investigation that the circumstance was being treated as a physical assault at that point, correct?
I communicated our suspicions to the medical examiner's office.
And that was at 10:41 or thereabouts in the morning, correct?
That's correct.
Your initial investigation during those obviously critical hours, the beginning hours, led you to believe that there was at least a good possibility, you indicated that you made a phone call, that it was a physical altercation that led to John O'Keefe's death, correct?
That's correct, yes.
And this witness, Sergeant Buchanan, was also key for the prosecution because he introduces another key piece of evidence for their case, and that is the audio recording, not the video, of the body cam footage after Karen Reed is indicted by the grand jury, and then she's charged with murder, with second-degree murder. And so this is that moment in court today when that was played.
And you were indicted by grand jury.
Okay, you're aware he was beaten up by Brian and Colin Albert. I mean, we're all in on the same joke, right? My taillight was cracked and John was pulverized.
Because again, this is the witness that had taken her back into custody. She's speaking with him, and then right after that, he advises her that she has the right to remain silent. But also keep in mind, it was audio only for the jury. It was that little snippet, and the defense did not cross-examine him on this. But he's back on the stand on Monday, Vinny.
What a big day. Matt Johnson in the middle of it all. We will speak again. Thank you so much, Matt. Okay, so this whole issue with this evidence going in front of the jury that is very deceptive. Like, what should the judge do about this? I want to bring in a special guest who may have an idea or two about it. Retired 9th Judicial Circuit Judge, the Honorable Belvin Perry is back with us. Judge, great to see you tonight.
Good to be here, baby.
Let me show you. Let me walk you through here what happened inside this courtroom, and I'm still shocked by it. So, first, I'm going to show you a piece of the video, a frame from the video that was put into evidence by the prosecutor and this investigator of the defendant's vehicle, and it's really significant in this case. The right side of the vehicle from the left side of the vehicle, because they're alleging that the right rear tail light struck the victim, and this car is the murder weapon. So this is the video that they put in. Now let me show you side by side a different version of it. So the one on the left is what the jury saw. The one on the right is the actual correct orientation of the video. That the tail light closest to the camera is not the tail, not the side of the car that struck John O'Keefe, according to prosecutors. It's the other side. So all of this seems very strange to me, that you'd put in an inverted video as evidence. What are your thoughts? Is this a problem? Can someone get in trouble for this?
Number one, if they can show it was intentional to mislead the jury, they probably can, but they got another problem, Vinny. They just gave them a colossal dose of a thing called reasonable doubt that will kill the prosecution's case. It's almost shades of the O.J. Simpson trial, where they had doubts with Mark Furman and all of the shenanigans that allegedly went on in that case. They gave the defense an absolute gift.
I agree, Judge, because this is a situation where the defense is alleging a conspiracy by law enforcement, and now you have a prosecutor and an investigator putting this video in front of the jury without saying anything about it being inverted. Completely misleading. I want you to take a listen to the way the investigator was questioned by the prosecutor when they put this video in. Let's take a listen.
And Sergeant, as far as the condition of the vehicle as you observe it in this sort of pause still shot of the video, is that a fair and accurate portrayal of the condition as far as the snow or ice or anything you observed on that vehicle when it came into the Sally Port garage?
Yes, it is.
All right, so the magic words, right? Fair and accurate, but they're not saying fair and accurate depiction of what the whole scene looked like. It's just the snow, the ice, and the car. Do you think that was on purpose?
It had to be, Vinny. A good prosecutor would have gone over this particular piece of evidence with his witness beforehand. It is quite evident to anyone that they were trying to pull the wool over the jury's eyes, and also that of the defense. But the defense caught them flat-footed. It reminds me of a case where someone tried to do that in a case that I prosecuted along with Ray Sharp, trying to fool the jury about some fingerprints when it was not a one-to-one comparison. And it backfired on them.
So ultimately, and obviously this could very well impact the way the jury sees the prosecution, sees the investigators, and sees the case, and reasonable doubt, potentially. But is there any other ramification for a moment like this in a high-profile case for the people involved? I'm trying to understand why this would happen. I'm almost speechless, Judge, because this is such an important issue and moment, because it all has to do with whether or not evidence was planted, because that's what the defense is saying. You turn the vehicle around, no one is touching the tail light, but you put it the right way, there's people all near the tail light. Just give me your final conclusion on all of this, Judge.
Vinny, it is quite evident, as the folks would say, that some shenanigans were going on here. Why would they do that? Unless they were trying to frame someone, or they are just a great case of the Keystone Cops. And I doubt that happened in this particular case. The evidence speaks for itself, and the evidence speaks loudly that that was intentionally done.
Judge Belvin Perry, always great to see you. Thank you so much, Your Honor.
Take care, Vinny.
Okay. When we come back, folks, we'll bring in our trial insiders, plus big news coming up next hour. More charges and shocking new information revealed today in the case of the suspected Long Island serial killer. We'll bring you all the details and bring in our experts to take you inside the mind of the suspect.
This is an innocent woman. She didn't do it.
It's a controversial case that's divided a community.
Karen Reed is accused of murdering her police officer boyfriend.
Prosecutors say she ran him over on purpose and left him to die in the cold.
But Reed claims that she's being framed.
It smells suspicious.
After years of legal fireworks, will the truth finally be revealed?
The end game is to figure out who killed John O'Keefe and hold these people responsible.
The Killer or Cover-Up Murder Trial. Live coverage weekday mornings, only on Court TV.
Antique vehicle there, yes.
If you take a close look at the trunk of that vehicle, the word police.
Yes, I believe I can read that, yes.
And it's backward, correct?
It is mirrored, correct.
That's a good indication that this is an inverted video, right?
It appears that way, yes.
Inverted video entered into evidence in a murder trial. So how do we know that this is inverted, that this is a mirror image of the video? Let's take a look and just walk through it so you are absolutely convinced how obvious it is. You start here and you look on the garage wall behind Karen Reed's car. If you look there, you're looking at the number 4, and it's backwards. It is obviously backwards, but that's not the only thing that's backwards. As you just heard from the testimony, you look at the front of this police car, and police is written backwards. And I know sometimes on an ambulance it's written backwards so you can see it in your rearview mirror, but that's not the case here. This is backwards because this is inverted video. But what's really fascinating, you look at those blue letters down below, that's the time code, and we're bringing out that time code. That's not inverted. So that's what has me even more confused here. So if the time code was inverted, it would be like super obvious that it's inverted. But the time code is like normal, but the video itself is inverted. So what's the impact of this? Well, if you look at the way it was shown in court, you look at the car, that's the driver's side door, but it appears to be the passenger side door. The broken tail light is on the far side, but appears to be on the near side. This is absolutely significant in this particular case, especially from this particular angle. Because now when you turn it around and make it the way it should have been presented, now you see the driver's side door, you see the broken tail light, and you'll know that you can't see the light. You can't see what's happening near the broken tail light from this angle. That's why it's important. But my goodness gracious, what is going on here? Let's bring in our trial insiders. Joining us tonight, Karen Reed supporter, creator of the Justice for Officer John O'Keefe and Karen Reed Facebook page, Nick Rocco. Also joining us, there he is, criminal defense attorney Joseph Krowski Jr. and the YouTuber behind Yellow Cottage Tales, Kevin Lenahan, is with us. Kevin, let me start with you. I'm looking at it from afar. This is a problem. What on earth were you thinking when you saw this?
Well, it seems to me it's a blunder, without question. I don't think it was deceptive, because if they were meant to be deceptive, they would have somehow edited out the backwards police logo or the number 4. Surveillance cameras are built this way. They use mirrored video to enhance the field of vision and eliminate blind spots. It's just the way they're produced, and it's supposed to be reversed back on play. And so obviously there was a blunder here. But the important thing to keep in mind, look at the timestamp. When that SUV is brought into the garage at 5:36, and while that video was shown there at 5:41, and no, Nick, it was wrong. It didn't arrive at 5:08. It arrived at 5:31. That's when the CERT team is beginning their search. They were there by 5, and they were beginning their search shoulder to shoulder at 5:41. So there was no time to steal pieces of taillight and race out to the crime scene and magically bury it 3 feet inside of the snow. And that's the important thing here.
Nick Rocco, your thoughts when you saw this?
So good job deflecting on this mirrored image video. So they took the extra step to change the timestamp on this video to make it look like that is the broken side of her taillight. There's a reason why they did that, because they needed some type of proof and evidence of that vehicle in the Sallyport garage showing, look, nobody went near her taillight, but we know there's another camera in that garage, exactly right above that little vehicle you see there, not the old police car, but the little golf cart there. There's a camera there that is missing footage from 5:08 to 5:50, which was pointed exactly on her taillight, which would show every single one of those police officers behind her taillight, most likely altering that taillight, just like they altered this video. So now you have Yuri Buchanan on the stand saying that this is an accurate video to what happened that day in the Sallyport garage. That is a bold-faced lie. He knew that this was altered. Adam Lally knew this was altered, and so didn't the DA, Michael Morrissey, and they still submitted this evidence, fraudulent evidence, into a high-profile murder case that the jury was trying to be deceived by this. The public was being deceived by this. This is poor police work, and I know you say there's no time, and we'll get into the time cuts later, because there's multiple times in this video where all the time is cut
we'll
out.
get into that. I want to get into this reverse part. Joseph, let me ask you. This is a case where the prosecution knows that they are being accused of being part of a conspiracy, right? A conspiracy to cover up and to frame. And right in front of the jury, this prosecutor and this investigator put this video in and make no mention to this jury that this is a mirror image. I don't understand why on earth you would ever do that, but they did. They did.
Well, they did. I think a couple of things. First, we have to be really careful about the terms we use, right? Deceptive and misleading suggests an intentional act, putting forward false information intentionally. We know from your show, from social media, that literally the whole world is watching. I do not believe for a second Adam Lally would intentionally put in evidence with the intent to mislead or defraud the jury. If you notice, Adam Lally is the only prosecutor prosecuting this case. So his day's not ending at 4 or 4:30. He's literally dealing with 170 plus witnesses, complex forensic type of evidence. So like a lot of things, I'm sure they'll debunk this. You know, they're probably now going to have to go on the defensive and bring in the IT person, either from the district attorney's office
let me ask you,
or from the
Joseph,
Kent Police Department.
Let me ask you, how much credibility do they lose by, in front of the jury, putting in a video? The investigator didn't say anything either. It's not just Lally, but it's the investigator saying. The investigator's been in that Sallyport, hasn't he?
Sure. I think, quite frankly, he just missed it. Look, if they're going to tamper with that taillight, why are they going to do it inside of a Sallyport where every single one of them knows has cameras, and that would require the extra step of deleting video or trying to invert surveillance video. That parking lot at that police station, I've been there, is a nice big dark parking lot. They didn't need to tamper with that taillight. They have John O'Keefe dead, basically dead at the scene. They already have damage to her taillight, and they already have officers at the scene earlier in the morning with the snow blowers finding debris. So there would be no need to do it for the crazy sake of argument, because I know we got this cabal of townsfolk and police and this conspiracy. For the crazy sake of argument,
but Joseph,
they wouldn't do it in the Sally Port.
Right, they wouldn't. But now we're in a trial. The jury only knows what they see and hear. Right. And they just saw the prosecutor and this investigator put a video in front of them, and it was up to the defense to point out that it was wrong. I mean, that's a bad look, whether it's on purpose or whether it's accidental. It's all of a sudden, it gives a little more credence and credibility that, wait a minute, is everything exactly what they're saying it is? It's about credibility here. Let me play a video and you're going to talk again for sure.
So I agree with you on that point. Okay. But there's a difference between deceptive and misleading.
He froze. Okay. All right. We'll get him. Don't worry. Let's take a look now. The video shown in court, and you can see you got Trooper Proctor on the left and the witness who was testifying, Buchanan, on the right, and you watch where they're going. This is important because now Proctor is by the tail light, by himself at this moment. But if you're looking at the video this way, he's not near the tail light in question. But when you flip it around the correct way, now all of a sudden, the trooper whose credibility is being questioned by the defense is now by himself by the taillight. Now, he may not be doing anything, but the bottom line to this, Kevin, is that if the defense doesn't say anything, the jury does not know where Trooper Proctor was. This is mind-boggling, knowing what the defense is alleging here.
Well, I don't think it's surprising that the trooper is looking at the broken taillight of a murder weapon. That seems like exactly
right, but
what
nobody would
doing.
know that. The point is that nobody would know that based upon the way the video was put into evidence. Like, if they just put it in like this or had said it's a mirror image, this is a non-issue.
Well, like I described it, it's a blunder, I think, and I think there may be some other blunders and that can cause problems, but you have to look at the mountain of evidence and you have to apply logic. Like I said, this is all going on while the CERT team is finding the pieces already at the crime scene. So there was no time to take those pieces from the taillight there and bring it out to the scene. So it's just a logical
Gotcha. No, I get that. That's a great point. Way to put the pieces together. Doing it better than the prosecution, Kevin, you are. Joseph, let me finish. You froze there, so I want you to finish your thought.
Oh, I was just saying, look, these are sophisticated police officers. I certainly think this was a blunder. There'd be no incentive if you were going to tamper with evidence to do it in that location. And you got to keep in mind, too, we're seeing snippets of video. We've already seen a lot of video. But in a homicide investigation, typically there are hundreds and hundreds of hours of video that you do your best to go through. So clearly he missed it. And you're not going to hear me say that this is a good development for the prosecution. But I don't think it's the bombshell that it's being hyperbolized into.
Okay, fair enough. Everyone's staying with us. When we come back, was this video actually edited? Was it chopped up? Are there jump cuts? That's next.
Pause it. I'd like you to pay attention to the right rear of this car. And I know we're completely backward, but it's the far corner of the car. Do you see a person's head there?
It appears as if someone's still there.
And that person is located at or near what portion of the car?
In real life or as it's depicted?
Is the person near in real life, near the right rear taillight of the car?
Yes.
Okay, and again, that's a big point that's being made by the defense here. If you look at that video, it doesn't look like they're near the right rear. It looks like they're near the left rear, but because it's inverted, a mirror image, you could be deceived by it, whether it's purposely or not purposely. It's deceptive. It just is to look at that video, because what you see is not reality in that video. It's like the mirror image of reality. So I want you to watch this part of the cross-examination, because now there's another issue, apparently, with this video. The defense believes there's some editing or some sort of a jump cut during the video. Take a listen.
Instead of paying attention to the individuals, I'm going to ask you, can you see, may I approach the screen, Your Honor? Yes. Can you see the timestamp at 5:37 and 37 seconds p.m.? Can you see that from where you're at?
No, I cannot.
Me neither. That's why I don't walk up to it. Let's play it for about 10 seconds. Pause it. Did you see another person just appear toward the rear end of the car?
There was a fog of some sorts. It did appear as if a person was actually in. There was two people back there, and two people walked away, or one person walked away.
The timestamp jumped to 5:38:01. Correct?
I cannot see the timestamp, sir.
All right, so let me show you a closer up of this mysterious figure behind the car. Take a look, folks, because this is significant. You see one person and somebody else pops up. What happens there with the video? What's going on with the video? Now, Alan Jackson spoke about the time code. So what we've done, again, there's the person popping up. We've taken the time code and made it bigger so you can see it. Does it skip? Is there a jump cut? What exactly is going on with the video? I don't know. I need an IT person to explain this to me, right? Doesn't look good. Let's bring back in our insiders, Nick Rocco, Kevin Lenahan, Joseph Krowski. Nick, what are you seeing?
So in this 6-minute clip that they show us, there is 9 minutes and 18 seconds total missing from all of that footage that they showed us. So within those 9 minutes and 18 seconds, you see just at this time right here, one man appears and walks out of the garage at 5:37? 34 Fairview Road is 5 minutes down the road. So enough of this, there's not enough time to take a piece of taillight and bring it to the scene. That right there, that's the only thing that you can say about this video. How about the fact that there is a camera right above Michael Proctor's head that's missing 42 minutes? The reason why they altered this video to show this vehicle in the Sally Port is so that they can say to you, look it, nobody went to that taillight. Nobody touched that taillight. And they knew that wasn't the correct taillight, and that is proof right there that they knew this video was not accurate to the way that they were trying to perceive it to the jury. So you have 9 minutes and 18 seconds missing from a 6-minute clip that they provided in court. You have Michael Proctor behind the vehicle the whole time, and then you have Yuri Buchanan saying, no, look it, nobody went to that taillight and touched it, because that's not even the correct taillight. You have a video right above their head that would show exactly what happened. There's a reason why it's missing, because it most likely shows Michael Proctor altering that taillight, and then you have the magic man appear out of nowhere, walk out of the Sally Port, and where does he go? So to say that there's not enough time to take a piece of taillight and drive it 5 minutes down the road what you say is a blunder. This video is not a blunder. That's a poor excuse for dirty cop work that's happening in this situation here, and everybody sees it at this point. They brought this conspiracy into the courtroom, and they proved what the defense has been saying for the past year, and now Adam Lally brought it into the courtroom.
Kevin, what are your thoughts about these jump cuts? What does it mean? What does it tell you?
Well, first about the missing video of some camera above Michael Proctor's head. I don't know anything about it, but Nick has also told us about a missing belt, a missing cap, commas, and all kinds of stuff that have all been debunked so far. So as far, you saw the belt and the cap already introduced in court, so hopefully, and you've also now learned that the car did not arrive at 5:08, it arrived at 5:31. But as far as the little gap there, This is not a Warner Brothers production. This is a surveillance camera. It's motion triggered. And there are little things like light shifts and other things that can cause the appearance of little, 4 or 5 second time delays. I don't know where Nick got 10 minutes because Alan Jackson said 10 seconds. So I don't know, but this is just a normal kind of glitch that you see if you're looking at a low quality video, which is what a surveillance camera is.
Joseph, let me ask you something here. If in fact, all of this is just, a product of the way it was recorded, should the prosecution have taken care of this ahead of time and explained it before the defense is now pointing this all out? And now if you bring in the IT people, whoever's going to come in to explain it after the fact, does it look sloppy? Does it look like, oh, we got to do something, we're scrambling at this moment? Is this something, if in fact this is all naturally occurring glitches, that should have been dealt with ahead of time?
Well, of course it is. But again, the defense team has 3 lawyers and a full-time forensic audio-visual person in the courtroom. There is no way that any police officer or any person in the district attorney's office would think that they could doctor this footage and get away with it. I've had some fun with the attorneys on the other side, but I know David Yannetti, a very smart guy. Alan Jackson, an accomplished lawyer. There is no way this was intentional, sloppy, yes. But let's get to the meat of it. You would now have to say that Yuri Buchanan is also complicit in the conspiracy. We heard all of this about Proctor, and we're now kind of finding out his relationship with the people in this town and the people involved in this case was not very wide and not very deep. You'd have to believe he's going to put his career and liberty on the line because his sister is friends with the sister-in-law of the Alberts, and somehow on a moment's notice, he's going to bring Yuri into this conspiracy. It makes no sense. And irrespective of what Nick says, it is clear the CERT team was already on site and already recovering pieces of taillight. There'd be no need to tamper with the taillight, and they certainly wouldn't do it in the Sally Port.
All right, we're out of time for tonight, guys. We'll do it again. Nick Rocco, Kevin Lenahan, Joseph Krowski Jr., appreciate it.